Hello, good morning. It's me on the road still, and happily. It's about 6:30 in the morning, and I wanted to show you what Phase 3 is, or Series 3, of the Northwest projects. I'm Chris Searles. I'm the creator of Rainmaking with Trees. I'm the guy that read the science and then thought, I'm so glad they wrote this science so we'd know how to take care of forests, how to rehydrate them and get rain back when we need it. And I've been doing this for 3 summers. I've been working on it for about 5 years. I've been studying it for nearly 10 years. And have had enormous success here in the last now 2.5 months on the road. And really all of 2024 has been exceptional. I've got a huge number of stories to tell. And then I've also got the stories of 2020 and 2022 and 2023 to share. But this short video is just giving you the layout for the Northwest projects. These things develop in real time. I sort of observe, and then make a plan relative to the big picture. Then I observe, and make site plans according to a few different criteria: where I can get water, where the trees are going to be most advantageously positioned, and then I think those are the criteria. According to 2 criteria: where I can get the water and where the trees are most advantageously positioned relative to the big picture for the whole plan. So in Phase 1, and again, I'm on the road, so you're going to get ridiculous graphics here. Let me set this up. So here is. This is just going to be the square version of the West Coast. That's the West Coast. And then we're going to have Washington, Oregon, California, Idaho, Montana. Okay. These obviously are not exactly accurate, but when it comes to the way Earth is organized today, the West Coast essentially has forests all the way down it. And then they sort of split for Northern California. And you have extreme sort of desert here. This is Nevada. And Utah's over there. And then you have some forest bits rolling around in here, which I don't really know the mapping on, but this is kind of approximately what you got. Seattle, Spokane, Boise, Portland, and then we're going to go Eugene. All right. And so, as everybody probably knows who's watching this, Eugene was the site for Series 1. Series 1 was to set the foundation for establishing moisture flow in this critically dry area. When I got there, just massive fires down here, southeast of Eugene. The 430,000 acre fire was roughly here, it's grassland fire. We also had the worst fires in the country kind of here and here, in these grasslands leading to forests. There's a little bit up here, a little bit in here, and then again a ton over here in Idaho, in these forests, and I don't really know much about it because I haven't studied them. I've just been keeping an eye on them. And a few other things beyond. Also, by the way, there's a little bit of forest before Vegas. North of Vegas, which is why Vegas is livable, probably. All right, so Phase 1, Series 1, I positioned here in the Eugene area to immediately affect these fires. This was the goal. Sort of this wedge. Priority 1, I call it. And then priority 2 was to get moisture moving up and down the West Coast. Priority 3 was to get it going over to these fires and down this way, the divide on the West Coast, although maybe that is included. So let me delineate these. This is priority 1, because this was, to me, the most obvious critical problem. If this went, we were going to lose all that moisture flow potentially from the ocean to these prevailing breeze recipient forests. So this is priority 1. That gets a big check mark. We hit that out of the park. Priority 2 is the entire West Coast forests. And we hit sort of half of this out of the park. We got rain down to about here. It's not enough yet, and that's why I'm in the new location I'm in, which I'll explain in 1 second. But this is priority 2, is this band of forests along the West Coast. And so the top end, we did really well, kind of from Northern California up into Canada. We got rains. All right, so priority 2 sort of gets check mark on this end. But meanwhile, this end, which I knew was a risk, this end has been worsening. So priority 2 down here does not get a check mark yet. That did not go according to the vision or the dream or the plan. However, priority 3 out here is getting lots of rain, and as I speak, sort of this area is getting rain. So this is priority 3 out here, and this gets a check mark in terms of good start, more to do. In other words, the first series, series 1, did great on the wedge. The second series, series 2, did really well on priority 2, sort of north, one half of it, and then priority 3 getting started. We still have basically all of California still too dry. There's something wrong here with forest moisture circulation in this general region, is my theory. And so I have now moved down to New Hope, outside of Grants Pass, but New Hope, Oregon. And let me, with all this in mind, let me redraw this map one more time. Okay, here's the new map. This is San Francisco. This is Sacramento, Boise, Spokane, Seattle, Portland, and Eugene, which is Series 1 and Series 2 waterings. And now I'm down in New Hope. And this is Series 3. New Hope. The reason I'm here is the same reason I went to Eugene. It's just about trying to get this advantageous moisture flow moving my way. So again, Series 1 did great at hitting here. Well, actually here. Series 2 did great at hitting here. And here. But we need more here, and we need a lot more down here. So I've come to this location of New Hope to try and stimulate rainfall in this area where it's dry. That will also then finally take these fires all the way out, send more moisture this way over into our third priority zone, as well as more moisture southerly into the areas of California, which are primarily all grass fire. When you're seeing all the press about California, they're leaving out an enormous amount of press that should be written about the fires in Oregon and Idaho and Montana this summer, but particularly Oregon and Idaho got hit hard. And we've helped bring the end to the fire season like a month early by the waterings in Series 1 and Series 2. Series 3 is trying to get down to Southern California and more stuff over here. I don't want to abandon the West, and I want to try and help Southern California. I'm more passionate about forests than I am grass fires. Preventing forest fire is the #1 goal. So if I can get moisture to go to both locations over the next 7 to 12 days, then, booyah. Huge, huge, huge positive success. If I can get it to go just up and down the West Coast and lock in a lushness for the West Coast, booyah. Huge, huge, huge success. And then I make another decision. If neither one of those things work, which I doubt they won't work, but if neither one of those things work, then we move on to another location. I don't know if in 7 to 12 days from when I started yesterday, Saturday the 14th, I don't know if we're going to get the rain to move where we want it to. I know this region in particular is still too dry. They're in high forest fire danger here. So I can affect this and knock that out. That I'm sure of. What I'm hoping I can do, again, is move moisture south into California immediately across these forests and take care of whatever this problem is. There's a circulation break happening in here. And of course the fire that I can't remember the name of that burned 430,000 acres in August is sort of just below all that. So, I want to stay in this region. And I want to fix that problem because I've already kind of addressed healing in here. And we've got moisture flow coming in here, moving up and down both directions now. So if I can just get all this stuff to kind of be transpirationally engaged, hydrated, and that's what these techniques do, it should move moisture by the end of the month, by the end of September, down to the bottom of California. Right around the time I can get there physically is when it should be getting there physically as well from these waterings. That would be against the forecasts. The forecasts are essentially that things are either equal chances or not going to improve. They're going to get worse for the general forest regions of North America, but in particular right now the Northwest and the West Coast. So again, I'm hoping this priority 2 is taken care of by my positioning here. And these forests, particularly the area around Bakersfield, LA, Fresno, San Bernardino, and the southern forests at the very tip of California, all those regions get rain, I hope, by the end of the month, and transformational rain as I move through to the end of the month with my waterings and back to Texas, ideally. Go home in about 3 weeks. I may need to do more watering at the bottom of California. I also may decide I need to go to Idaho. But I think that the seasonal shift plus these moisture movements that have taken place will essentially move Idaho out of crisis by the end of the month, one way or the other. We're pairing together now with like natural moisture movements coming back into circulation over Idaho, Montana in October, I believe. Somewhat the same true for California, although California 2020 maybe was in fires all the way through winter into the following year. There was no end to fire season just a few years ago. And that is my fear, that we're basically living in those times. For instance, Vancouver was in fire season for more than 365 days last year. They may have gone out of it at some point in the last number of months, but I believe they're probably more like 18 months in fire season. That's not supposed to happen in boreal forests. We've essentially created year-round fire season, and I am essentially reversing that with these techniques. So we'll see how well the Northwest Plan does in a little bit of time. But again, this is about moving moisture up and down these coasts along the forest lines. That's what the forests want to do. They naturally are going to move the moisture for us if we hydrate them. So those are my moisture movement targets. What we've done is overly deforest. And I can go on and on and on about that. But the rehydration process is extremely effective. And I encourage you to experiment with it at whatever level of tree engagement you have, and watch what happens. We'll see if we can get moisture movement happening across this entire landscape, as we were able to do in the Southwest, as we've been able to do in Southern Oregon by the end of September. Today is September 15th, so it's a tall order. I got a lot of work to do. Thanks for watching this video. More soon.